The forest feels safe when you're sitting by a fire with someone you trust. But when the flames die down and the night swallows the trees, that's when you realize you're not alone out there. Two campers thought the real danger was bears, but what they discovered will make you question every sound you've ever heard in the dark.
Cody and I were in our early 20s, and camping had become our escape from everything else in life. That summer, we chose a place neither of us had ever stayed overnight before, Snow Forest. It wasn't some crowded campsite with noisy neighbors and cars parked nearby. This was deep wilderness, just trees, silence, and the kind of isolation that feels exciting in the daylight, but terrifying once the sun drops. We parked near a small picnic area, shouldered our packs, and hiked until we found a clearing big enough for 2 tents, a fire pit, and our little fold-out table. Cody, the Eagle Scout, set up his tent in minutes while I struggled with mine, as usual. By the time the sun was fading, we had a fire going, steaks sizzling, and classic rock echoing softly through the trees.
If you've ever been camping, you know the feeling. Meat cooking over an open flame, a cold drink in hand, and nothing but laughter and good stories floating into the night. That's exactly how it felt. Safe, free, almost perfect. But Cody reminded me of something that stuck in my head. The animals aren't the ones you need to worry about out here, he said. It's the people. At the time, I laughed it off. But those words would come back to me later, in the worst possible way.
The fire was crackling low, our card game dragging on under the faint glow of lantern light when we heard it. At first, I thought it was just part of the music playing from the speaker, some faint background melody. But then I realized the speaker was off. Out in the trees, just beyond the circle of firelight, someone was humming. A slow, steady tune, like a person absent-mindedly walking along a trail. But there shouldn't have been anyone out there, not this deep into the forest, not at that hour.
Cody froze. I could see the tension in his shoulders, the way his hand hovered near the flashlight, though he didn't grab it yet. I paused the music entirely, and in the silence, the sound became clear. Footsteps crunching on dead leaves, moving just out of sight. By the time I scrambled to dig out the flashlight, the noise had faded. Nothing but black trees and the kind of silence that makes your ears ring. I asked Cody if this was normal, and for the first time I saw his confidence slip. Unusual, he said flatly. I tried to shake it off to go back to the game, but that humming, so human, so close, settled in my chest like a weight. And as we were about to find out, it was only the beginning. Just when the tension started to fade, it happened. Out of nowhere, a heavy stick crashed into the middle of our campsite. Not a branch falling from a tree. It landed too perfectly, too deliberately. Someone had thrown it. Cody and I both jumped to our feet, hearts pounding, scanning the tree line. The firelight stretched only so far, leaving the woods in a wall of black. Whoever was out there knew it, and they were using it against us. Cody didn't hesitate. He shouted into the darkness, his voice cutting through the still night air. "Whoever's out there, get a life and leave us the hell alone!" For a moment, silence. Then, the sound of footsteps again, this time moving away, crunching leaves, fading into nothing. I told Cody we should pack up and move to another spot, but he shook his head. "In the dark? That's worse. We stay put." So we did, sitting closer to the fire, bear spray within arm's reach, our ears straining for every sound. I tried to convince myself it was over, that whoever it was had left. But the forest has a way of keeping secrets until it's too late. We knew sleep wouldn't come easy that night, so we made a deal. Cody would take first watch, and I'd rest for a few hours before switching with him. He sat by the fire with his book, while I crawled into my tent, zipped it shut, and tried to convince myself everything was fine. Hours later, something stirred me awake. My stomach dropped. A head was peering into my tent. I rubbed my eyes, squinting against the darkness, and whispered, "Cody?"
The figure didn't move, didn't speak, just stood there, watching. My brain struggled to catch up, still half asleep. For a second, I convinced myself it had to be him. Then the zipper slid shut, quick, precise, and the head was gone.
I froze. My heartbeat was deafening. Slowly, I sat upright, straining to hear. That's when the footsteps came, crunching softly as they walked away from my tent. Panic surged through me. I rushed out and stumbled to Cody's tent. My hands fumbled with the zipper until I got it open, and there he was, sound asleep, tucked into his sleeping bag, the book he was supposed to be reading still resting by his side. My blood went cold. Whoever had been at my tent, it wasn't Cody.